Hey guys, my glasses are so reflective. Welcome back to another match review. I don't know if there's a way to change this. Okay, that's like a teensy bit better. Sorry if it's bothering you. Sorry. I'm not putting my contact in today. Welcome back to another match review. I am not in the best of spirits after that game. I tried really hard not to get my hopes up, but of course, the day comes, the match comes, and I always end up getting my hopes up. And I just feel like there's so much to unpack in that game, and I'm just like so tired after it. Like it really, really just took everything out of me. If you have any thoughts, love to hear them about the game. I won't be doing a live call in today because I just don't want it to be too negative, because I feel like it was a really not even tough game to watch, but I just don't want to be too negative on my channel. I want to try to make sense of everything that happened. So here's my thoughts. Starting 11 comes out. I was surprised to see Lukaku starting. If you watched my match preview, you would have seen that I actually had Lukaku on the bench. Why? Because I feel that when we play Lukaku in this system, he oftentimes gets very isolated. He really needs that striking partner. And I don't think that this system that we play necessarily allows him to have that. Not only that, but I didn't see us changing systems to a 4-2-2-2 in this game, because I felt that against Spurs it worked, but there were a lot of gaps in the midfield and in the defense. It's a new system. It's not the type of thing that you want to be necessarily trying out against City, because they're going to be able to pick those gaps absolutely apart. And so I was really surprised to see Lukaku starting. I was also really surprised to see Ziyech and Pulisic starting. I just didn't understand where that was coming from. I didn't understand what the game plan was, and I would have rather seen Mount, Werner, and Havertz for this game, because they have experience playing in this formation. They have experience playing against City, and I just thought that that would have allowed us to be a lot more fluid in the attack. Talking about the attack, I just felt that it was very toothless. We looked very scared to move the ball forward. We looked scared to pick out passes as well. Oh, it's just my Apple Watch going off to say that I haven't stood this hour. And it just felt that City, again, were swarming us. Of course, City have one of the best presses. If I take my glasses off, I'm not going to be able to read, but it's really bothering me. Sorry. City have one of the best presses in the world, if not the best, but we were just like finding it difficult to get out of our half to create anything. And I really felt that the front three did nothing. I'm really disappointed in Lukaku, to be honest, because I feel like these are the types of games that we signed him for. He did a lot of talking, and he was supposed to do his talking on the pitch. I felt like he ghosted this game. I felt that Pulisic and Ziyech also ghosted, but I just have higher expectations for Lukaku than I do have for Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic. And Pulisic, not for nothing, is still really young. But I just felt that every time he got the ball, he was giving it away. I mean, none of the attack was good again, but I just expected more from Lukaku, especially because I feel like Chelsea are doing a lot to try to fit him into the system. And we had a system that worked, and I just don't quite get it. And apparently, I didn't get to see the press conference, but apparently after the press conference, somebody asked Tuchel, do you think that Lukaku, didn't get enough service? He didn't have enough chances provided for him. And Lukaku was like, sorry, and Tuchel was like, no, you have to make your own chances. Like, that's on him. And it's like, but yeah, thank you. It's so cold. This is my favorite sweater, so that means a lot. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to wear something other than a sweatshirt, so I appreciate it. Sherry says we gave the ball away too much. The players look toothless, and I think we have to have I can't even speak. Have a long, hard look at the squad quality. I mean, the problem is, I've been saying this forever. Guys. That Ben Chilwell and Reece James are so integral to how we played last season. They made us a world-class team. Without them, we just look average. We really do, and that's no disrespect to the players, but it's just like in the system that we play, it really requires the team to press as a whole. Those wingbacks need to run a lot, and Aspin Alonso just don't have the legs for it. And I can't blame blame them for that. Like the system just doesn't really suit them for where they're at in their careers right now. Alonso was getting absolutely destroyed by Raheem Sterling on that left hand side, the right hand side. But it just felt like we weren't coherent, that we weren't able to play together. Everything looked disjointed. I thought Kovacic, looked a little bit nervous on the ball. He was making some like really intense tackles. N'Golo Kante, I thought, was okay. I mean, I didn't think anybody in the team necessarily played that well. It's just really frustrating. So yeah, it says, I'm sorry, don't kid yourself. Ellie, was a garbage game, 0 positives. What positives can I draw from this match, to be honest? Let's see. Let me try. I thought that Sarr had a pretty good game. He was covering for Alonso a lot. Thiago Silva looked pretty sturdy as well. I actually thought that Kepa was having a really good game up until the goal conceded. It made me quite upset to see a lot of people saying, oh, if Mendy was in goal, then he would have saved that. We don't know that. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne is a brilliant player, and you could just tell that Kepa was not expecting that. But I think the defenders weren't expecting it either. N'Golo Kante wasn't expecting it either. I really can't fault him for a moment of brilliance from Kevin De Bruyne. And even the commentators were saying like that shot is ridiculously difficult to be able to pull off. And guess what? Mendy's not in goal, so we're never going to know whether or not he would have saved it. So there's no point in harping on about it. Absolutely not. Thank you so much. It means a lot because I'm a little bit sad after the game, guys. I'm sorry. Enzo says, what do we need to do to stop Manchester City from winning the league? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like boring at this point. Like I want at least a bit of competition. Even if Chelsea don't win the league, I'd like it to be a little bit exciting about like who's going to win the league. But they're 13 points clear of us. Obviously, Liverpool have 2 games in hand, but still, I mean, they're miles and miles ahead. And when everybody was saying like, oh yeah, we're definitely title contenders because we just won the Champions League, I was saying, that the Premier League is a long-term game. There's 38 games that you have to play. And not only that, but City are used to doing this year after year after year, after putting in performance the entire calendar year, which is very different to Champions League like knockout style competition where you play elite teams, but it's a knockout style. You have 7 really intensive games, but it's not the entire season. And I think that's the difference. City have had a gap. I think the minimum gap they've had on us in the past couple of years has been 19, and then the maximum was 30 or something ridiculous. So that gap isn't going to be closed in a year. And then you add on top of that, all of the injuries that we've had, plus injuries to 2 of probably our most important players in Reece James and Ben Chilwell. And no wonder why we're struggling. But really, I completely understand why we struggled in that game. And the only positive for me was that we didn't concede more. Yeah, honestly, it looks like they could have had 2 or 3. So I thought that it was positive. I'm a little bit annoyed that we didn't score because I felt like we could have scored, and that the decision making in the final third was just so incredibly poor. There was an opportunity where Lukaku has the ball. He decides to pass it to offside Hakim Ziyech instead of kind of squaring it to Alonso. That makes no sense. Ziyech should know better than to make that run in an offside position. And it just felt like the entire game, that decision making in the final third ended up being what cost us the game. I didn't see any chemistry between the front 3 players. I don't know what the game plan was. I really didn't understand it. Maybe they just weren't. Maybe there was a reason why Tuchel pick these players, and I'm sure that there was a reason. I would love to know that reason because maybe they just didn't implement it how he had thought, but it was just really, really poor. Yeah, I'm sad. Oh, Mendy tested positive anyways. Yeah. Jonathan says, "Good fight from the team. We just don't have the quality to compete with Man City." I mean, they're just on another level. They're in another stratosphere right now. We're dealing with a ton of injuries, and the issue right now is with our our attacking players. I feel like the defense is more or less quite sturdy. Obviously, the wingbacks are out, but I still felt that we were defending pretty well. And if anything, the wingbacks, Chilwell is so strong defensively, so is Reece James. But going forward, I feel like we're missing them a lot because Alonso and Aspie are both limited in what they bring to the team going forward. And I feel like having Reece James and Ben Chilwell just allows for a lot more flexibility in this side. But I feel like the attack is just so disjointed, and it's just feeling like more and more that we brought in this 100 million pound striker, and we don't know how to utilize him, and we don't know how to play him. And it feels like we need to change our system, the system that won us the Champions League, in order to accommodate him, and that's not really working either. And I don't know, I'm just really disappointed in Lukaku because I feel like uh I don't know. Like I've said, you bought him for these big games, and he again didn't deliver in this game. Like I need to see at least a shot from him, but I felt like I saw nothing. I think in the first half, he was the one with the least amount of shots. The least amount of touches on the ball. I think he had like 9 touches the entire half, which is partly service, but also partly how he was playing. So it's just sad, but yeah, there's not much to really say. I feel like we've just gotten totally outplayed today. It's really frustrating. Um, Yeah, a lot of people in the comments are are upset with Lukaku as well. Um, Tari says at this point the league title's over. I'm more worried about not going above Liverpool by the end of the season. Honestly, I mean, you don't really get any points for coming in second anyways. I would be more focused on trying to win the cup, the EFL Cup, trying to win the Club World Cup, trying to win the FA Cup, maybe going for the Champions League, but I just don't feel like it's feasible with how we've been playing. And I know I said that last year and we ended up going on to win it, but I just feel like the club haven't even replaced Ben Chilwell, knowing that he's going to be out for like the whole time of his injury is going to be almost like a year. And then even when he comes back, he's not going to be like his best self. And it seems like the only thing that they've done is recall Kennedy. I don't think we could even get Emerson. I don't see us buying anybody, and that is an area where we like desperately need to get somebody in. So I don't see us competing for anything massive because I just feel like we really are missing like that left wing back and that right wing back. Like I don't see anybody coming in. And maybe you say, why doesn't Callum start there? Why doesn't Pulisic start there? Like they're just not as defensively minded. Like we've seen them get caught out defensively and just not have the right positioning because that's not their natural position. It's just normal that happens. But against City, like that you could completely get caught out. I would have like opted to see maybe a Lewis Hall. Maybe you don't want to throw him into the deep end and start him against City, but I thought that he looked so good in the FA Cup, and I don't know, maybe you give the minutes to him to try to build something. Yeah, I hate being right about this. I don't want to be right about it. Um, but yeah, I thought you're right. We did play well against Liverpool. I mean, I think City are just in a league of their own. Like Chelsea and Liverpool are pretty neck and neck at this point. And but City are just in a complete league of their own. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. Um, I have a super chat here. How the heck can I show it on the screen? Oh, here. Sorry. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's so kind. I really, really appreciate it, especially after this crappy game. I have like a massive headache from watching that. I don't know why. Hey, Ellie, how are you doing? Haven't been here in a while. This was a rough loss. Was Tuchel mostly to blame for our attack to stumble? This is a great question. Like I kind of said earlier, I feel like there must have been a reason for him wanting to play Pulisic, Ziyech, and Lukaku together. I don't quite understand it, but I'm not the boss, so I don't have to understand it. I mean, he clearly had some game plan, but it just felt like they were not able to implement it at all. And I felt that we looked better once we had some speed on the pitch. So once we had Werner and Callum on, but I just didn't feel like they had all that much time to affect the game. They came on, we conceded, and then we were trailing and trying to chase the game. Personally, I would have gone for Havertz, Mount, and Werner starting. I thought that that would have been maybe a more fluid front three. And I was confused why Mason Mount didn't start because I feel like he's been one of the best players and most consistent. And Mason tends to show up in these big games. Like he tends to be a big game player and get goal contributions against the big sides. So I was really, really confused why he wasn't starting. Andrew said this match was a reality check. We need to offload Ziyech, Werner, and Callum ASAP, and reinforcements are needed in the summer. Do you guys agree? Like, let me know who you think needs to leave Chelsea at the end of this season as well. I mean, Ziyech has just been he's so hard for me because I feel like he puts in these like really great performances and you start seeing like what he can create, and he's super creative and puts in these passes that you think, oh my God, nobody else would put in that pass. But then he has games like today where he was woeful. So it's just so frustrating because I don't find the consistency with Ziyech. I really, really don't find the consistency. So I wouldn't be surprised if we sold him in the summer. So it says scoring 3 at the Etihad isn't for everyone. Well, I mean, we won the Champions League, so that's all I really care about because the title was wrapped up anyways. There's no way, even if we won, I would not be saying that we are in a title race. So yeah, Lucas says if Tuchel played Captain America on the left, it would have worked wonders. This is something that I wonder, like why we constantly see Pulisic on the right. I really don't understand it because I don't think that he plays that well on the right. And I forget what game it was at this point, but it was at some game where he played on the left and he had like a pretty poor first half, but then he scored this fantastic goal. And it's like you can tell that he just looks super comfortable on the left. Like when the time comes to shoot, he's got it. I think it might have been. Was it against Liverpool? I don't remember. I think it was against Liverpool. So I don't know why, especially when you're playing Ziyech, who normally plays on the right anyways. I didn't understand to change the two of them. Terry says, I love the Ajax Hakim, not the Blues. One painful to say this, but he needs to leave. Yeah, he just hasn't been the player. I actually said when we had the massive summer window, I guess it was in 2020, when we had a massive summer window and we signed Werner and Ziyech and Kai and Chilwell and all these players, I was like, I think Ziyech is going to be the most influential out of all of them because he brings something that we're lacking that we really need, and it's just been a bit of a disappointment. Yeah, I was referring to the Liverpool game. Yep. Brian says, why don't you do a watch along? Well, I stream the games and I did one once on another channel and I had all of the goals ruined because my stream was like 30 seconds behind. And so I knew what was going to happen. It would be like, oh, Mason Mount scores. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't get to see that yet. That blows. So I'm just always behind. And so I just feel like, oh, I would just have the game a bit ruined. And not only that, but I really try to focus during the game so that I'm able to like provide match thoughts after the match. Sometimes I have to go on TV to talk about the match, and so if I were streaming, then I wouldn't be able to like analyze the game as well. I hope that makes sense. Wait, can I haven't seen the interview because I started streaming right away. But can somebody tell me what Tuco said? Please, please, please. Let me know in the comments what Tuco said. I really want to know. Um, Karen says, Ellie, how many Chelsea players do you think can walk into City or Liverpool starting 11? I'm seriously struggling to think maybe one or two can only. Let me think about this. Thiago Silva, I think could. N'Golo Kante, 1000%. And those are my main two, I think. I think those are the two world-class players that are currently fit right now. And maybe a Rudiger. Maybe Rudiger at Liverpool. That City just have so much squad depth. It's insane. Nick says if we had any hopes, we know it's now finished. I didn't have any hopes, Nick. I already knew it was finished. Very bad performance, no fight, no pressure. We just kept giving the ball away. Yeah, it was so frustrating. Like, and it speaks a lot to City's press that we kept giving the ball away because they kept swarming our players and making them very nervous and forcing them to make mistakes. There was one from Kepa that I don't know who was pressing him, but he kind of like hit the ball out, but it wasn't Kepa. It was like the entire team. Nobody could hold to the ball. Everybody was just like hoofing it up the pitch, and then a City player would go and reclaim it. Like absolutely went into how Pep wanted to play. Yeah, I am as well because I feel like he could be so devastating. I thought Pulisic was poor today, as was the entire front three. I thought they were all really, really poor. I don't think they created anything in the first half, not even one shot on or off target. I don't think anybody had a good game, really. There's no fluidity in attack today. Lukaku was just a passenger. He didn't drop deep to get involved in the build-up play. At least Kai would have offered that. That's why I wanted to play Kai, because I just feel like Kai offers that fluidity in the attack, and he kind of like drifts more into the spaces, and I just felt like he does more. And I haven't seen Lukaku performing well in a decent amount of games. I understand that Kai hasn't performed well either, but I just feel like his profile fit more the type of game. Hi, Ellie. Apart from a left wing back, do you think we need to buy a good winger who could run through opponents' defense and create chances? Not in this window for sure, but I think it depends heavily on if we sell anybody in the summer. I've seen like who was, I think like Bayern might have been interested in Pulisic. I think Dortmund were interested in Ziyech. There's usually some interest for Callum. I don't think that he would leave. I do think that Pulisic can do that, but in his preferred position on the left. And maybe, I don't know, now it's been kind of 2 years since his post restart performance, and maybe I'm just grasping at straws at this point, but I really want to believe that he could be that player, because I think that that is something that's super unique to him, but I don't think we're seeing it on the right-hand side, and I don't think he really gets the opportunity to play on the left-hand side. And if you have one game out of 10 where you're playing there, well, you're not really getting to hone in that. So it's not a priority for me right now. I think left wing back is a priority, right wing back, and a center back, especially if Christensen leaves. I don't think that we'll maybe see that happen in the January transfer window, but maybe in the summer. Yeah, it's quality and squad depth over quantity. I feel like a lot of these players, I just don't know where they fit in. I miss Eden Hazard so much, so much. I really, really do. So he says, I'm starting to get concerned about the wingback situation as well, because Chelsea haven't looked very active in the market. I think this could derail us in other competitions. I mean, this is the biggest reason why we've seen such a drop off in the Premier League. If Ben Chilwell and Reece James are fit, I think we could still be competing for the title. That's how important I think that they are to Chelsea and to how integral they are to how Chelsea play. I think we absolutely must bring somebody in. The club has recalled Kennedy. I don't really think that that's going to be doing much. I've heard some links for Serginho Dest from Barcelona. He's American. Don't know where that stands. Haven't seen any new reports on that. And we're January 15th, halfway through January so far. And it feels like the stories have dried up a bit. So I'm getting a bit nervous as well. I really thought that this would be a position that we prioritize. I get the club's in a sticky situation because you have Reece James and Ben Chilwell, who are your starters, and you've said to them, hey, you're starting people. You don't want to buy somebody like a Theo Hernandez, who's going to be like the out and out starter to compete with Chilwell. I understand that, but you need somebody, especially considering that I really feel like Alonso and Emerson are probably going to leave this summer. Yeah, this would be super cool. It would be. Jory says, I just want to see Pully on the left. He's much better there. Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said, I don't understand why you're choosing to play Pulisic and Ziyech. And Ziyech normally plays on the right anyways, and Pulisic prefers to play on the left. So I don't understand why we saw them swapped. Anastasia asks, do you ever miss Tammy Abraham? I mean, I really liked Tammy. I was surprised that things kind of went so sour with Thomas. Not that they went sour, but that Thomas Tuchel didn't really rate him and that we sold him to Roma. And I do miss him. I felt like he probably needed this because he wasn't getting that game time, but he scored like 16 goals in his first Premier League season. I think he's a super, super talented striker, and wherever he goes, he's going to be successful. And it's a pity that it wasn't at Chelsea. Kendrick says, barring the Arsenal game, Lukaku has had 0 goal involvement in games against the top 6. That's mad. I didn't know that. And I just don't. I feel like we don't know how to play with him. But he has to adapt his style of play to Chelsea as well. It can't just be like one way around. And I would be really nervous that Thomas Tuchel gets sacked because of this. I absolutely would rather keep Thomas Tuchel than Lukaku. I think Thomas Tuchel is 1 in a million. Like, you're not going to find somebody else like him. I feel such an affinity to this coach. I would much rather sell the player, make a loss on him even, than sack the manager. But unfortunately, that's not usually how these things go. No way is Arsenal going to sell like their prized asset to us? Like, I don't see this happening ever, Andrew, ever. Like, it would make 0 sense for them to sell him, especially to a direct rival. Oh, I got the Tuchel quotes. Thank you. Tuchel on BT Sports. Lukaku is included in this, had many ball losses in very promising circumstances. He had a huge chance. Of course, we want to serve him, but he's part of the team. Interesting. Yeah, totally noticed that as well. So frustrating. It was like, oh, he lost the ball. Like, that was an opportunity. We actually had like 4 or 5 opportunities in the first half. The second half was a bit of a disaster. But in the first half, we had so many opportunities, and the attack just picks the wrong pass, made the wrong decision, and it broke down. But I totally feel like that Tuchel's spot on, and I don't know. What's our next game? Let me Brighton, right? I think that Lukaku is rested against Brighton. Let me just pull up the next couple of fixtures. So we play Brighton on Tuesday, then Spurs in the league, and then Plymouth, if that's how you say it, in the FA Cup, and then we're going to the Club World Cup. So yeah, these are a string of games that I feel that Chelsea should definitely be able to win. And maybe Lukaku doesn't start against Brighton. Maybe we see Kai Havertz, who hasn't been used in the last 2 games. Maybe we see him. Let's see. So overall, I wasn't expecting much out of this game, but I don't know. I'm still disappointed about it. I feel like City are just in a league of their own. They're just so far ahead, and it's frustrating. Yeah, Lukaku wasn't the only player giving the ball away a lot, but like I said, I hold him to a different standard because Chelsea literally bought him for this purpose. Like they bought him to win and score in these big games and be like the difference maker from last season. As I've said, I don't think any of the front three was good. I thought that the entire team was giving the ball away a lot, and that's totally fair. But it's true that Lukaku did fluff up quite a few opportunities that could have been promising. And like I said, he's 100 million pounds. You expect him to be doing better in those situations. My best front three, I don't know. My best front three is maybe Mount, definitely. Maybe Havertz Werner. I don't know. I don't feel like we really have a best front three, to be quite honest with you. I feel like Mason is like probably the most consistent out of everybody. And then everybody else, it's kind of just like some games are good, some games are poor, and they're not consistent enough for me to be able to judge what the best front three is. Since what happened to Mount, I couldn't tell you. I don't know why he was benched in this game because I feel like he's one of the first names on the team sheet. Terry says, will be a far better competitor versus City and Liverpool next season. Remember, it took both City and Liverpool 3 to 4 years to build complete teams, and Thomas Tuchel we trust. Absolutely. And I really, really hope that Thomas Tuchel gets the time in order to be able to build this Chelsea team, because we've seen, like, we thought we had a super full squad. Two really important players get injured and we've been completely taken out. So hopefully we can address these problems. And Chelsea isn't typically the type of team to give managers a lot of time. But if there's anybody who deserves that time, it's definitely Thomas Tuchel. I really love him as a coach. I really, really do. So hopefully he has that time to build. And I'm sure if he has another year or two, we're definitely going to see Chelsea competing for the Premier League. Like I said, there's always been at least like a 20-point gap between City and Chelsea in the last couple of years in the Premier League, and that's not going to be fixed in just one season. That's going to take time to fix, and that's just normal, and that's to be expected. But guys, I hope that you enjoyed the stream. Like I said, no live call-in today. I'm very tired. I have a headache after that game, but hopefully I ended it in a bit of a positive place. We play Brighton on Tuesday. Hopefully we can get the win. We should be able to get back to winning ways against them and start. Hopefully we have a bit of a string of games where we can get into a bit of momentum. We should be winning the Club World Cup as well, I would assume. Hopefully, I know you say never assume, but I really hope that we do. So let's see if we can start getting into better form and having better games ahead. So the Champions League game is coming up soon as well, which I'm excited for. But guys, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to drop a like so that other people can find me. Leave a comment saying if you enjoyed the stream, like on the channel, so that people get driven to this video. I don't know, so that they find my channel. And yeah, make sure to subscribe and follow me on socials and all of that. Thanks so much for tuning in, especially after that game. But hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. And until next time, I'm out. Bye.